Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, Parsons, for joining us on this endless discussion. Because I think it is the important part of any kind of event where all the panelists are discussing about certain things and asking questions, and we can get the idea from their thought process that what is really going on in their fields. Thank you very much, Trax. I'm really thankful for your honorable presence on the stage. First of all, we are going to have the company of Islamabad, who is the Chief Innovation Officer from Trax. Islamabad is the Chief Innovation Officer at Pharma Trax, where he leads basic solutions for pharmaceutical traceability, data integrity, and innovative Pharma 4.0 systems. He has extensive experience in helping pharma manufacturers improve supply chain transparency and explore competitiveness through digital transformation and traceability systems. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. Next, we are having the company of Hans Kaczynski, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Novacare Hospital. He is experienced senior consultant and chief executive officer with admirable history of experiences in the international hospital and healthcare industry and hospital operations specifically. Thank you very much for being with us. Next, we are having the company of Dr. Mohammed Tariq, Chief Executive Officer, Development Synergies International and Associate Professor at NAS. Dr. Tariq is the CEO of Development Synergies International and was previously the country lead for USAID Health Supply Chain Program in Pakistan. He has vast experience in global health supply chains, GS1 standards, regulatory reforms, and public-private collaborations. Dr. Tariq's focus is on ensuring safety, traceability, compliance within public health systems to enable patient safety. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. Next, we have the company of Jamshed Sheikh Hamid. Jamshed Sheikh Hamid is a portfolio manager at Bloom Health, UK, and digital healthcare. His focus is on driving innovative in digital health by managing NHS and international healthcare sales. He is involved in market and research. Thank you very much, Dr. for being with us. So, coming towards the questions which we have drafted for you to understand the overall process from your perspective and your school of thought, I would like to question first to Rizwan Butcher about the patient safety through digital transformation because it's a very important issue, and I think all of you have discussed about the patient safety and the digital incorporation of digital implications to digital algorithms which can be linked with the patient safety. So, to Rizwan Butcher, Rizwan, in your role of former Trax, how have you seen digital traceability improve patient safety and reduce risk associated with counterfeit medicines in Pakistan's supply chain?
So in countries like Pakistan, we have double-digit percentage of the counterfeit medicine, and the remaining percentage a lot of ineffective medicine. So the deterrence to counterfeiting advantages are huge. Like if I just able to cater to having a deterrent in the field to effectively detect firstly the counterfeit medicine, and if since we are able to track and trace, we can also come to know that which stakeholder push these drugs into the supply chain at what point in time, and we can go reverse and find out the root cause and finish it off one time. So the traceability not only helps you detect, but also to find out where it's all originating, which are the stakeholders, so that we can fix it off and reduce the recurring.
Thank you very much. To Hans, I have a question that you have worked on integrating patient identity systems within hospitals. How do digital health frameworks like upcoming One Patient, One ID improve patient safety at the hospital level And how does this integration connect to pharma traceability?
Uh, I think asking the question is giving the answer. Of course, having this unique ID would, would help tremendously in identifying the patient, helping registering his encounters, his consumption, everything. Uh, Now, while we were thinking in the hospital, okay, now how to identify individuals and assets, uh, we thought, okay, if Amazon can identify millions of consumers and millions of products and can bring them together and till today can analyze who in somewhere in Karachi ordered consumable X on episode Y, and they will be able to trace this person by name, by address, and even by phone number. So I see there is no reason why it would not be possible to connect in the supply chain hospitals and any pharma or any industry that relates to us. It just requires collaboration. Uh, we mentioned in several presentations barcoding. I'm not sure if every medication in Pakistan actually is barcoded. So if the basics are not there, don't think of the system that would be perfect. But I think we at least are willing to think with anyone to, okay, how could we develop this interconnectivity? That's
Thank you very much. And in connection, I will ask Dr. Tariq, that considering your expertise in global health systems, what measures should Pakistan take to ensure patient safety through national traceability systems? How can GS1 standards and digital tools help eliminate counterfeit medicines and recall management specific in the public health system?
Thank you. Dr. Paranja, thank you very much. I think it's a, it's a very important question in terms of how. I'll give you one example that we can relate. Take the example of Scotland. Scotland is spending 3.2 billion pounds in maintaining its NHS system, data acquisition, for the purpose of applying artificial intelligence and machine learning. What we see, of course, the British Navy as well. Now, why I have drawn this parallel is basically, what does it mean in terms of having an approach from stethoscope to datoscope? It's basically making sure that you have a unique identifier, as Dr. Han said. If you can relate your social, your health, the whole journey between cradle and grave. I mean, one of my friends who works with Scotland NHS, and I said, what are you doing? He said to me that, I'm building a system that is from cradle to grave acquisition of information. So if a system is so rich in the public sector environment, for public and private sector, that each and every individual, as an example, there is a man who is 55 years old, a Scottish man, and that will give you a predictability how many times he's going to be admitted for hyperglycemia, is the power that we need to have. Now, how can we do it? As I said, Pakistan has been suffering, unfortunately, from Project Titus, but with current leadership of Dr. Mr. Syed Mansar and Dr. Mustafa, it's all on IT. Is basically making sure that the fragmented information ecosystem of Pakistan, which is about more than 50 different information systems, which have been implemented by one or the other donor, are acquiring information, but they're not talking to each other. So Han was saying EMR, Han was saying enterprise resource management and planning. So all of these systems are very important to make sure that you have a unique identifier tied to 250 million people in Pakistan. Every person who is born is tied to that unique ID so that you can get that information to see what is the course of action. So coming back on science of implementation, Dr. Nathan, the solutions are there. They are written on the wall. It's basically making sure that we have a voice and dialogue with all industry and human public private sector partners together and talk about one single platform that acquire information from both public and private sector about all those interactions on health that actually can guide you how to plan it. Right? The hospital, our BHU, our PHU, our district headquarters, or our tertiary hospital for public sector. My last response is NADRA. NADRA is doing a very good job. I'm sure some of my friends are very familiar that now Pakistan is thinking of putting all information because NADRA gives you a unique identity. So NADRA is now thinking of putting all fragmented information systems onto a one platform. But this will not be possible if your infrastructure is not there. So we need to team up with the government of Pakistan and other ministries to say what is required for Pakistan to have a multi-trillion acquisition of data into an infrastructure that can apply artificial intelligence and machine learning, what we do enough can perform.
Thank you very much, Dr. Khan.
I think NADRA is the only way to go.
Yes,
It's the only way.
Yes, you're very right because we have a single ID throughout the Pakistan and anywhere else can be applied by using the same card. It's very right and you are very right. Okay, so coming towards Jamshid, how can digital transformation such as EHR, real-time monitoring systems, automatic alerts can reduce the medical errors? What is your take on that?
So I think that's a great question, and I think that we see working very closely with the NHS is everything is always going to be under the EHR. And in the UK, there's, the NHS, should I say, there's something now called the shared care record. So it allows anything that's on the EHR to now be seen by any trust across the country as long as you've got it. And I think that reduces medical errors immensely because the clinician has the information on that patient when they need it at the right time. Now, they're not going back and forth trying to follow this one country's on. In one annual leave or in another part of the country or in an operating theatre just to get information based on that patient because they can find it in the EHR. Now, medical note is extremely important, not only in the UK, in Europe, America, in Pakistan, but it's important everywhere. And information is the only way that we're going to see a decrease in mortality, a reduction in hospital admission, because that's the way that the UK want. They want more people to come at home. How are they doing that? Do we have a remote patient monitoring app? Yes, we do at Blue. No, we actually have a remote patient monitoring app that gives that patient their own health passport. Now, the beauty of that is that all the information on that patient can be displayed through a singular app. Now, I live in Birmingham, so I'm a big health guy. But if I was to go to Scotland and I'm not on the Scotland shared care record, then the mission there is going to be like, I could try my best, which they will, but I need information to treat you properly. I don't know if you're allergic to XYZ. I don't know if you've had your gallbladder removed. I don't know what your kidney function is. I don't know if you're a heart patient. So having a digital ecosystem where information is integrated all the HR platforms and other digital health solutions is the only way that we will reduce mortality and reduce human error within the healthcare system.
So you're very right that we must have some kind of a system in NADRA that can be linked with the EHR systems and can be used for automatic detection of the problems and mortalities and mortalities. Thank you very much. So coming towards our next theme of discussion, which is export competitiveness through digital systems. As we look to the future of Pakistan from 2030, achieving export growth hinges on regulatory compliance, market access, and digital infrastructure. By embracing this traceability, civilization, and AI-driven supply chains, Pakistan can enhance its global market readiness and lead the way in pharmaceutical exports. So, coming towards Rizwan, to you, digital technologies are key to export competitiveness, right? How can AI-driven systems and digital traceability enable Pakistan, Pakistan pharma manufacturers to meet the standards of regulatory markets and gain access to global export opportunities?
So primarily, the evidence is right there. The regulations are coming even in the markets that Pakistan currently exports. If we do not comply in time with data quality and integrity, we will lose that market. In order to leapfrog, primarily what we have to do is that it's also an opportunity as well as a challenge. We convert into an opportunity, we can leapfrog, especially in the herbal and nutraceutical segment, where if you're able to add the digital side easily, we can have double-digit percent growth. Capacity building of the pharmaceutical manufacturer, incentivization. There is with drug regulatory authority, there is a fund, 1% of the sale that is kept for R&D purpose. Some of that can be used to incentivize to capacity building conferences like these. And I would also like to encourage you that tomorrow is very long time and brightly being arranged. TRAP has officially, this stage will be used by TRAP tomorrow for capacity building on Trax, GMP, traceability. In the afternoon, the second half, we also have a master class involved. So capacity building, need of the hour, and creating the urgency and resource availability.
Thank you very much. And for the participants, please join tomorrow's session of the TRAP for GME and the other stuff, which is very important for this kind of reach. So, to Hans, I have a question that from your experience in the healthcare industry, how do digital health systems and patient safety protocols influence the export competitiveness of pharma products? How do digital hospital frameworks contribute to safe care and increase trust in Pakistan pharmaceutical products?
Yeah, that's a good question, but it makes me think of another discussion in a different platform that was about how can we create medical tourism to Pakistan. And okay, I'm a foreigner, I'm a Gora, so I look to Pakistan as an outsider. I worked in Pakistan now 7 years in total, and I have many friends and many colleagues that I can call my friends. And everybody is a little bit desperate from time to time because the potential is there. Unfortunately, there is a continuous brain drain going on. And it was mentioned in some of the presentations as well. What the country needs is consistency in policies. The country needs to be predictable. Pakistan will be able to create all the digital conditions that are required to have a safe environment, to make sure that whatever is manufactured is done in the right way, no doubt. And any auditor from any country can go to any factory, do a survey, do an investigation, and say, okay, these guys do their job properly. And you can even remotely and digitally continuously monitor the production and manufacturing of whatever product you're talking about. But I think it's more an attitude, maybe even a political thing, that I think is the next challenge, and that can be addressed by creating this predictability. Don't mess around with policy, create a good policy, keep it like that, and apply it properly. That would be my Gora answer to this.
And we are really thankful for being Gora and staying in for 7 to 8 years in Pakistan. Thank you very much for being here. To Dr. Tariq, in your view, what steps does the Pakistani government take to ensure that pharma manufacturers can meet international compliance standards? How do regulatory frameworks like GS1 standards enhance Pakistan's export readiness?
Dr. Paracha, once again, thank you very much. I think it's a policy level question in terms of how government of Pakistan should prepare it. And I'll take very resonating line that Dr. Khan said, your future comes from today. And if you're not ready for today, you're not going to have a future. So I would say, I think the priority for Pakistan politicians, and I'm sorry, I'm going to blunt it. We tend to make policies for 3 years or 5 years. That is not going to be the answer. Industry comes with a long-term investment. Millions of dollars, billions of rupees into money. For that matter, government of Pakistan needs to prioritize that standardization is important. There's a Ministry of Science and Technology. There's a DG that has a particular position and scope of work and title of scientific standardization in Pakistan. This is Ministry of Science and Technology. Now, if you ask me, Tariq, do you find any standardization of medical technologies or equipment in Pakistan? How people are being exposed to overdose or underdose? There's no standardization, unfortunately. So the government of Pakistan has to make sure, and government of Pakistan are we, all of us, we represent government of Pakistan, and we need to make sure that standardization comes as a priority for a long haul, not for 3 years, not for 5 years, not for your constitutional time period that you can, number one. Number two, I think we need to create an environment, taking industry as my dear friend Rizwan said, capacity building. We need to take the industry to the out, go to Turkey. How they are making sure that they are exporting so much as compared to not in Pakistan. Why India is 70% exports of the pharmacy of the world? Why not Pakistan 25% of their pharmacy? So that is very important for Pakistan to reconsider, reinvent, and co-create an environment where industry, academia, and the executives come together, as Dr. Khan said. This is a high time for the government of Pakistan to think about standardization, application of. Now, one more thing, Dr. Paracha, is important here. You can visualize what is something that you would like, but if you are not going to take baby steps, you're not going to get there. So you need to manufacture your today much better as compared to what we do. And that manufacturing is preparedness for infrastructure. Infrastructure is very important. People like this one, who are actually helping industry doing 2D barcoding. When Pakistan was not able to, amenable to GS1. GS1 was the gold standard. We want to make sure that Pakistan is standing in line with all those countries who are in compliance with the global standard. So what we do, we will open the doors of commercialization, we will open the doors of exports, we will make sure that we graduate from $500 million to maybe $50 billion. 730 pharmaceutical companies exporting just $250 million is a shame. Unfortunately. So I think we need to, as Dr. Khan said, I'm a little passionate Pakistani, but I think it's time for us to reconsider our priorities and inject standardization right from that public sector and private sector. Therefore,
Thank you very much, Dr. Tariq. And you are very right that quality helix models and the standardizations of things can make us stand in the queue of countries who are doing that. Thank you. So over to Jamshed. How can Pakistan use digital systems such as supply chain digitization, e-commerce platforms, real-time quality monitoring to enhance the global competitiveness of its health sector?
Again, another great question. And I think the way Pakistan can increase their capability, not just nationally but internationally, across not only just the health but the pharmaceutical industry, is sort of research and look at what are the other companies and other countries doing that make them a success. Again, if Pakistan exported 250 million per year, and the next country is doing billions or trillions, what is it they're doing? Is it clinically safe? What do the clinical trials say? How many people were enrolled in the clinical trials? And what were the effects of that in terms of how many patients were given a placebo, how many people were given the real drug, and what outcomes are from that? Because when you're going to be exported to the likes of America, Europe, or even Britain, right? The first thing they're going to ask is, what are your case studies? What are your numbers? So, in order for Pakistan to really make their step in the pharmaceutical industry, I think clinical trials are the way forward. In terms of a general digital health ecosystem, in terms of e-commerce and all the bits that you mentioned, is again, look at what the next best country is doing. Right? Research is the most important thing that will get a country into the next stage of development. Right? That's where other countries from the outside are going to go, hold on a minute, Pakistan wasn't like this 2-3 years ago. All of a sudden, they are a emperor, they are a beast in digital healthcare, they're a beast in pharmaceutical. Why is that? Who have they learned from? Right? Who's giving them the training to do that? Right? And if we could study, and so I'm an outside Pakistani, so any success that comes from Pakistan really warms my heart, right? So being passionate about the country that I call my motherland, right? I want to now see this nation succeed. How is that going to happen? From an outsider, right? Are Pakistan actually doing all the research that they're meant to do to export them? Probably not, in all honesty. Are they exporting things like food, etc.? Yes, because it's a different market. But the healthcare market is so niche that everything resolves around not just how much money you're spending on clinical trials, pharmaceutical development, but is getting that success around it. Because, especially from a psychological perspective, is that if things don't go well, we're not going to try it again, right? But failing a few times will only make you better, because you're going to now learn from your mistakes and get to that end goal where you really going to be like, yes, I've 100% efficiency in my pharmaceutical drug. I can now go present this to board members in the UK, in America, and say, look, compare this to your competitor, right? They've got 95% efficiency. I've got 100%. Okay, their drug costs a little bit less, but is it worth an extra 5% increase that you're going to see in reduced emissions, better outcomes for your patients, and reduced mortality? So I think that Pakistan just needs to learn what other leading countries are doing and learn from them.
Yeah, you're very right. And maintaining the standards and getting the ways of standardization and everything will get us in that market, which we are thinking we're very. So, thank you to all the participants for such insightful discussions. The Pakistan Pharma 2030 vision is clear: digital transformation, patient safety, collaboration between the pharma manufacturers and regulators and healthcare providers will lead to global competitiveness and ensure safety and quality for patients. So, as we move forward, it is imperative that we continue to build on our strengths, foster innovation, and work towards creating a connected healthcare system that is safe, efficient, and globally recognized. Together, we can make Pakistan a trusted global leader in pharmaceuticals. So, as we wrap up, I'd like to ask each of you, what is the one key action that Pakistan must take in the next 12 months to move closer to Pakistan Pharma 2030 vision, starting from this part? Thank you, Dr. Rehan. So, the world and now Pakistan, regulatory animal industry has realized data is the new API. In pharmaceutical industry, we say active pharmaceutical ingredient, and that's quality. On top of that, data has become increasingly important. So one key action is enforcement of regulations and then allowing and enabling capacity building. Dr. Tariq, I would concur with him about infrastructure, an enabling environment where all this happens. And all of this would need incentivization so that there's ROI for the entrepreneur to comply because it's cost of complying. But eventually, there's going to be export proceeds. Thank you. Hands. Noted.
My advice would be that the triangle of government, industry, academia sit together, define, okay, what is our 5-year plan, come up with a concrete action agenda where every industry partner signs off, gives a commitment, whenever it is compliance with standards, whenever it's investment, whenever it's marketing, whenever it's research, doesn't matter. These guys will be smart enough to define the agenda, but I think it's all about commitment. Commitment, this is what we're going to do the next 5 years, and we sign off and we do it. Whatever happens.
So commitment. And now, Dr. Tariq, I have only one line. And the line is that we need to convert Pakistan from stethoscope to stethoscope. So stethoscope to stethoscope, it's very interesting. So Jamshid.
So I really like what Hart said, right? You need to have that triangle between government, hospitals, and academia. That's exactly what we have in the UK. We have things called health innovation networks, right? They partner with universities to release innovation to better healthcare, to better outcomes across the whole country. And I think if Pakistan can really do that from a government perspective, academia perspective, and sort of merge all three together, then Pakistan will become a data house. Great. Triple helix model, competitiveness, and consistency, and we can say that is. So thank you very much once again to all the participants and panelists to share their expertise. I hope the discussions today will inspire collaborative action across the public sector, private sector, and healthcare providers as we work together to shape Pakistan's pharma future. Let's move forward with a shared commitment to digital innovation, patient safety, and export competitiveness in the years ahead. Thank you very much again. Thank you.